Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to season 6 of the Joy Channel podcast, a podcast where we experience more joy in our lives through expressing authentically. And we do this by tuning into something good within ourselves. Tune into yourself, learn yourself, know yourself, be yourself, etc. Today, we are going to talk about this episode's 101. So, we're doing Consciousness 101. Manifest any desire. What you believe, you will perceive and receive. In science, you can note that as the function of the reticular activating system to filter out what is and isn't noticed. You can cite Hebb's law as neurons that fire together wire together. Or the more that you think about something, the stronger that energy becomes, which is then observed in the brain as the strength of neuronal pathways. It starts in thought first, though. In conscious manifesting communities, you would call it law of assumption and law of attraction, which are different perspectives of the same thing, which is what you think about a lot, you become and experience. What you think, you are. I think, therefore I am. I am, and therefore I think. And people say, well, what about all the misery? Why would someone create that? Or, I can't believe in a God that would cause suffering. And I used to doubt God before I met God in myself. Even the word God for me was difficult because of the religious mess associated with it. Even as a child, I recognized that the paths of Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, and others are all aiming at the same thing, and that is to feel that perfect love that we all are, that connection that you can feel, that pure, highest, most powerful love is available through you, through your soul, which is God, consciousness, universe, the totality of it all. I'm going to use those terms interchangeably throughout this: God, consciousness, the universe, because to me it's all the same thing. This is what I've experienced very viscerally and kinesthetically, visually, physically, mentally, emotionally for many, many years now. So you can feel that purely by connecting with through yourself to the infinite consciousness that is forming all of us. We are all formed of this infinite consciousness, tuned in specific ways through various languaging speech patterns, and which are passed and inherited and stored as DNA memory information. And that's the thing, is when people invoke other names to that energy, they forget that it is them. So if you call it God, you call it Jesus, you call it Allah, you put it outside of yourself, forgetting that it is you and everything. That's where the stickiness begins. Put no other gods before me means do not put a concept that is outside of the I am as in charge of you. The name is I am. Anything after that is a skin that you are adopting. I am kind. I am love. I am brilliant. I am God. I am lazy. I am stupid. It's all a filter, a perspective, something that you are taking and utilizing and steering your life with. And that is taking God's name or our name in vain. In vain meaning producing no result, useless, wasted. It's directing energy towards an end of suffering sometimes, or joy. And either way, it's, directed away from the center of just I am. Putting a name to what the energy of all things is, consciousness, calling it God, calling it anything, and then fighting over it is quite silly, because it is every name. It is infinite names. And then forgetting that it's all the same name, it's all the same word, it's all the word, is quite funny. Which brings me back to the misery question. Why would we choose suffering? from what I've experienced, seen, been shown in many, many years of meditation and epiphany, is, which I would describe as a flash of getting like a clip show of the secrets of the formation of the universe. I've seen the formation of the universe many times. It's very beautiful, which anyone can access, by the way. We're all consciousness. You can literally know anything. Everything exists too, so you can see it in any of the infinite ways, but it's going to come to you in ways that are most resonant with what you're tuned to. But anyway, God chose to forget that we are God for the sake of this paradigm to essentially play airport. You know, the game where you pick a random location on your maps uh, on the computer, and then without knowing anything about the surrounding areas, you have to wander the roads on the maps until you reach the airport using like the Google satellite. So then you can think of it like people who accidentally pick where there are no accidents, but we'll talk about that some other time. When people end up closer to the airport, they have a higher success of finding the airport, aka remembering that we're all one. But what if someone is plopped in the middle of nowhere? In this analogy, that would be a very rough childhood where the child is taught all manner of lies, like that they are worthless and born a sinner, which is also misconstrued because it would just mean without knowing that you are God, without knowing that you are consciousness, without knowing that you are a creator. But why suffering? Because the infinite consciousness, we know it's not real. It's part of an illusory experience. And that doesn't help when you're screaming and crying with your dead loved ones near you, or you're in so much pain you're considering jumping off a building. But from what I'm seen and perceived of, all the times that have not been fun or enjoyable were higher consciousness waking me up to my power as a creator, as my power to change and shift the very reality that I was standing in and perceiving of. And I've shifted between realities many times. And to many people, that will sound crazy. And that is simply because they haven't experienced it yet. And maybe they never will. Most people probably never will. Lots of people aren't going to try to explore it or play with the ability to do this. Most people aren't going to try and lucid dream or astral project. And that's okay too, because the ones that are, we get to build this beautiful, beautiful world that we're now experiencing. There's only so much misery a person can experience until they are willing to do something differently than has been done before, than their parents, ancestors, and friends have done before. And when I hit my crisis point, my rock bottom, it lit the fire in me to change and heal. I was done living in the idea that I would never heal or never get better, as doctors had been telling me because that was what they knew. And I hold no resentment for anyone who told me that, because literally that was their truth. That was what they had studied and seen over and over again. And there were all the studies and all the proof. But that is consciousness. That is a consciousness holding on to that as truth. There was supposedly no way to heal what I had. And I hit the point many, many years into it where I didn't care. I was lucky enough to grow up with energy healers in my family, so I had experienced miracles before. But I hadn't wanted to heal before that point. And so I wasn't going to let anyone heal me because I didn't want to be healed. I was holding on to that diagnosis and that pain as my truth for the reasons of coming to higher consciousness, which is fine. That was the crucible I needed to go to spark on the fact that I can create, manipulate, and manifest reality. And manipulate just means to move with one's hands, right? We manipulate our beliefs all the time. People mostly use it, it seems, to manipulate themselves into feeling poorly about something. You can also manipulate it into feeling delusionally happy. Either way, it's an illusion, so you might as well enjoy it. Anyway, point is, I had to want to heal. I had to choose it. It must be chosen. I had to let go of what I'd been holding as true, that I wasn't healing, that my pain was going to get worse and worse as I aged, and other lies. It had been my truth, and it was a very real, visceral experience for me. And then I chose to remember something different. That consciousness is infinite. Realities are infinite. Parallel realities exist. And consciousness had all the information how to heal me, how I would be healed. I was able to surrender and call out for help from higher consciousness in knowing that I can be healed. And I asked, show me what to do, guide me. I'll do whatever you need to move me from here to there. And I breathed and I meditated and I laid down for a week with meditation music on before I even got to the point where I was able to observe my thoughts and catch myself and hear it when I had that spark of, I have to get up and do something. I need to do something. And I was able to analyze in that moment, the only thing I need to do right now is lay here and heal. Feel healed, feel whole. I don't need to get up in pain and move in pain. So I stayed where I was. I observed the thoughts. I asked myself the questions my friend had taught me of what must I believe to be true in order to be feeling this way? When was the first time I remember hearing someone say this? And, it was a pattern that I heard my parents say many, many times of, gotta get up and do that. I can't just lay here, blah, 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 whatever. Pushing through their own pain. So that was a familial pattern that I had the honor to break. And then go back into a couple years later, because, that's the game of consciousness. And then come out of it again with even more strength and resolve and remembrance of, oh, hey, choose different. I'd been trying to do it on my own. But you don't need to strong arm your healing. Your job is to be human and request what you receive from higher consciousness. Receive healing, ask to be healed, and allow yourself to receive it. It would only be the thoughts of saying that you can't heal that would prevent you from healing, or that you're not perfect. When I adopted the phrase, everything is perfect and I love my life, and I repeated that over and over again. I repeated that for 8 hours straight one day. I mean, I got up and went to the bathroom and took like little breaks and stuff, but I kept going because I was like, no, this is my truth now. And I remember I was able to stand up and wash dishes the next day. And that was huge for me because I hadn't been able to stand and wash dishes. And what came out of my mouth while I was washing dishes was, everything's amazing and I love my life. Everything is so perfect. My body is so perfect. And those were the mantras I had been repeating. Those were the affirmations I'd been repeating. Affirmations and mantras are like the same thing. It's just one is English and one is Sanskrit. But I was using English because that is how my consciousness is patterned. As healers, we recognize that no one is ever healing anyone. We're holding a state of healed, a state of wisdom and perfection so that the person that is receiving the healing can rise up to it, can meet us there. We invite them in. We say, hey, this is the energy I'm holding. And then they get to opt in or opt out. And, well, when it's done, I don't want to say correctly, but that's a way to do it that is very effective. So it's never, we heal people by knowing that they're already healed, is what I would say. We know that they are healed. They are healed. You are perfect. So we're not healing someone because healing keeps it in an active state of, you're not quite done yet. I'm still healing. Oh, you're still healing, so you're not healed. And if you have been having a hanging healing and you've been staying in the healing state for a long time, ask yourself what you're getting from staying in that versus being healed. Because oftentimes it's you, part of you, protecting yourself in thinking that you need to hold on to that for whatever reason. For me, it was a way to say no to things when that hadn't been allowed before. So my pain, my injury was a way that I could say no to doing things that were wildly out of alignment with me. So it was a form of protection that I didn't even realize that I was holding on to. So when I hit my limit and surrendered and remembered that I can heal and feel happy and be perfect in any moment, life shifted for me. I shifted in that moment. And I've never been the same. I've experienced instantaneous healings many times. I'd experienced an instantaneous healing before that, actual determination. And in all those moments where it's happened instantaneously, it's been an entire shift of consciousness and being into knowing it is done. I am healed, period. No wavering, no anything, no up for discussion. It's just, oh, I'm healed. Great. On with my day. Life has just only gotten more and more magical as I've gone on. So I've experienced instantaneous healings many times. I have helped people heal instantaneously. I've manifested money out of the blue to appear many, many times. I've manifested lost items that I lost in other countries to appear in my room, no matter where in the world they went missing. I've manifested snow in Texas and rain in the Near East during the dry season. And how did I do this? I've practiced control over my reality. I've claimed power over my mind and ability to create, and we can all do this. I've recognized my power. I've practiced it. I practiced with weather since I was a child because that was something I was taught, was that you can manipulate and work with the natural world. So that was what I started with, was with weather. And it's the same with weather as it is with money, with friendships, with whatever. When you recognize that everyone is an infinite interdimensional being and you can select any version of them, you can select the version of them that is delightful and that you love dealing with. Because otherwise, what you're unconsciously choosing is the version of them that is a real a-hole. So, which was just a pattern, probably because you had some sort of language patterning of like, oh, guys are jerks, or oh, women can't be trusted, like some silly thing that you were told a billion times, and it affected the way that you show up in the world, and it affects the relationships you have and the way that you interact with people. So, when you practice the thoughts we're about to get into, and you repeat them, and you recognize that you have control. You are the magician, and your words are your wand. You are going to notice a shift in yourself. You're going to hit a point where these words that you're repeating are entered as knowing. It's not going to feel real at first. It might feel weird. You might not believe it. That's fine. You don't need to believe it. Just keep repeating it. Keep repeating it, and it will solidify into fact for you. It has to. That is how it works. If you believe it and allow it, say, yes, this is how it works. This is how it works. This is how it has worked for millions of people already. So many people are getting into the law of attraction, law of assumption, law of whatever you want to call it. I like law of emittance because it's like what we're emitting, right? And I haven't heard that anywhere, so I coined that. But you're gonna notice that shift in yourself where it feels natural and real, and you just feel peaceful and chill and relaxed. And Neville Goddard referred to that as the Sabbath state, right? 6 days of creating the world and then rest on the Sabbath. So you're just like resting in it, in the knowing. I call it peace or embodiment. Shifters would call it shifting, of like, no, I feel myself shifted into this reality. And then, the outside world reflects it to you. Shifting is a slightly different, where it's like you're actually like shifting into that parallel reality, which I've also done, and it's the same. It's just slightly different in that there's less overt changes usually, but that's also not the truth. It's just how do I phrase this? It's not important to phrase in this episode. We could talk about it in another episode. We're going to get into our powerful affirmations for command and control of your reality and your perception, recognizing that you are the conscious creator of your life. And we're going to rock and roll from there. All right, I'm going to repeat each affirmation twice, leaving room in between each for you to repeat after me. I would advise you to do this meditation as many times as you are inspired to. Really get this as your self concept. Get these beliefs down, because these will make creation so much easier for you. You're already creating anyway, all the time. But now you're going to create in a way that is so fun and easy and so enjoyable. And you're going to love it. All right. Everything is so perfect and I love my life. Everything is so perfect and I love my life. The world is getting better and better every day. The world is getting better and better every day. Even if I don't understand it, I trust that everything is occurring to bring us the highest peace and love in the world. Even if I don't understand it, I trust that everything is occurring to bring the highest peace and love in the world. I see perfectly clearly. I see perfectly clearly. I remember to see love happening all around me. I remember to see love happening all around me. Everything is so perfect for me. Everything is so perfect for me. Manifesting is so fun and easy. Manifesting is so fun and easy. I've been doing it my whole life automatically with where I place my attention. And now that I'm doing it consciously, it's going so well. I've been doing it my whole life automatically with where I placed my attention. And now that I'm doing it consciously, it is going so well. Manifesting is so easy and fun for me. Manifesting is so easy and fun for me. I love manifesting. I love manifesting. Manifesting is so automatic now. I'm so good at it. Manifesting is so automatic now. I am so good at it. I am a master manifester. I am a master manifester. I'm a master manifesting magician. I am a master manifesting magician. I have the best self-concept ever. I have the best self-concept ever. I have the best story about myself, my life, and my reality. I have the best story about myself, my life, and my reality. I love manifesting my desires out of thin air. I love manifesting my desires out of thin air. It's so easy and natural manifesting my desires out of thin air. It's so easy and natural manifesting my desires out of thin air. It is so much fun and so convenient and efficient. It is so much fun and so convenient and efficient. I manifest out of thin air. I manifest out of thin air. I manifest my desires out of thin air all the time. I manifest my desires out of thin air all the time. My highest loves are always manifesting out of thin air. My highest loves are always manifesting out of thin air. My desires came out of nowhere and are now here. My desires came out of nowhere and are now here. I love receiving my desires instantly. I love receiving my desires instantly. Anything I want, I get to have. Anything I want, I get to have. I wake up to new opportunities. I wake up to new opportunities. I wake up to blessings. I wake up to blessings. I wake up to magic. I wake up to magic. My desires are delivered to me out of thin air. My desires are delivered to me out of thin air. I'm always receiving what I desire out of the blue. I am always receiving what I desire out of the blue. I'm receiving my desires in physical form now. I am receiving my desires in physical form now. I see myself receiving more and more love. I see myself receiving more and more love. I see myself receiving more and more money. I see myself receiving more and more money. I see myself achieving greater and greater things. I see myself achieving greater and greater things. I see us working together perfectly. I see us working together perfectly. Thank you so much for listening to episode 101 of the Joy Channel podcast. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope that my cat cleaning himself in the background wasn't super loud on the mic. Maybe it wasn't picked up at all. He's adorable. And yeah, I'm going to be posting on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So tune in on Saturday for another sweet, sweet treat. Hope you enjoyed this, utilize this. Uh, hope it, you know, caused some shifts in consciousness and epiphanies. I do be loving epiphanies. You are wonderful. You are magical. You're a powerful creator. Check out the website, thejoychannel.org, in the description for all of my latest offerings and beautiful ways that if you want to work with me more closely, I have those up. I also have a free book writing guide if you want your story to be out in book form, or even if you just want to do it for fun and craft who you are. All right, now, have an absolutely beautiful day. Goodbye.